kitchen. Today I just wanted to show you really quickly how to make a chicken in the oven or on the grill. It gives you all those lovely drippings so that you could use to make some really nice broth that you can put on top if your mixture of food that you're making is a little too dry. You just add a little broth to the mix and then pour it over your kibble and it'll be delicious. So you could also use this for the chicken meat. Obviously no bones, but the skin and some of the cartilage. It's really good for yourself as well as your dog to eat. I also sometimes, a chicken on the inside will have the heart and the kidneys and I don't know, whatever, I don't think there's a liver or anything in there, but whatever little organs that they give you for extra flavor, I also use those. So today what you'll need is parchment paper, and I encourage parchment paper because foil is a very useful product in the kitchen, but honestly it's a very soft metal. It gets into your food. That's easy to test at home. All you have to do is take an aluminum pot, put some water in it and a little baking soda and bring it to boil. You'll taste the aluminum. Aluminum foil, obviously even softer. Please, just don't let the food touch the aluminum. Use it for its great, heat retention, but don't eat it. Don't have it touch your food. So today I have this thing that's really neat. You just take a regular pan, and there's two different types. This is one type where you can, I don't know what these things are called, I don't know what to call it really, but this one is made for a can to go in so that when you put the chicken on top, I guess people use it with beer fumes or whatever you're putting in there. Permeate the chicken, I guess, make it taste better. Or, I don't know. I don't drink alcohol, so I've never tried it. I take the can, throw it over there, and I just put the chicken on here and put this in the pan, in this little dish. So this heat-resistant dish is just a little like cake tin. This one I think is aluminum. I'm not sure what it is. So what I do just to make my cleanup easy and to make sure that I'm not touching whatever it's made out of, I take some foil, put it down, so when this later is all full of baked in juices and crusty things, it's very easy to just pull out and throw away. Which makes your life a lot easier. So I put that, and then your parchment paper goes inside of that, and so your juices will drip down and only touch the paper. They won't be touching the aluminum, so make sure you make your piece big enough so that that's what actually happens. And then I put this on top of that. Now, sometimes you can't find these chicken cookers, whatever this is called, with the can option. Sometimes they kind of look like this, and they have these two parts that you kind of put together. And I really do the same thing. I line it with foil, I line it with parchment paper, and then I'll put my chicken on top of here. Now this one is perfect if that's what you can find. They work both the same. But somehow I find it a little bit easier to manage pouring this one than this one's a little small. So, get yourself a whole fried chicken. This is an organic young chicken from Kirkland, and you just open it up And there are juices in there. I want those juices down here because that's all goodness. It's all good nutrition and good stuff for the pup, or for yourself if you're making this for yourself to make a soup or a broth. So deep down inside of here, some chickens have it, some don't. They'll have maybe the neck bone, or let's see what this is. This Jack in the Box here. This one has a neck bone. I just throw it in the bottom. Anything else? Not sure what that is. Some type of organ. My chicken is still a little bit frozen inside. It's mostly thawed, but it's a little cold in there. I think that's all they gave me today, was a neck bone. So while this is still in the plastic and still has all that juice, I flip it over, and a lot of that, let all of that kind of run out. And I position the chicken. It's having a little bit a harder time today just because it's cold still in the center. And because I had a little piece of skin in the way. Okay, so your chicken's on there. Now you can just peel off the plastic so any juices go down into your reservoir. Okay, so I like to cook this at about 300. I start at 400, but I go down to 300 for a good, I'm going to tell you, I do 4 hours. I like my chicken to be soft and tender, falling off the bone. This is the best, most juiciest, delicious way to cook chicken. If you're cooking it for yourself and not the dog, you could put spices, herbs, salt, pepper, paprika, whatever you like on the outside, or even in between, stuff it into the skin. But for myself, I like things a little simple, and for the dog, I just cook it like this. So I'm going to wrap this in foil, but before I wrap it in foil, I'm going to take another little piece of parchment paper and just put it over the top. And then wrap my chicken. Now, I want all these pieces to go in because I don't want them to burn. If you're doing it on the grill, it could burn. And then just wrap this around. And now all the juices from the chicken are going to go drip, 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 drip down and be caught by the paper down below. And in about 4 hours, we take this baby off, and then I'll show you how to make broth. Okay? Okay, it's about 4 hours later. As you can see, the chicken is tilting. That is a good sign. That means the chicken can't even hold itself onto the chicken cooker anymore. And we like that. That means it's falling off the bone. So if we unwrap our present here, ooh-wee. Be honest, I think I went longer than 4 hours today. I had some other things to do. I wasn't paying close attention. That's okay. It's very forgiving. And you can see how beautiful, moist, just falls apart. Now, this is what we want to do. Back to our lovely pressure cooker. And if you don't have a pressure cooker like an Instapot, you could also use just a big boiling pot. It just takes a little longer. I don't think the heat goes quite to the center of the bone and all of that as well. But basically, all these parts like the neck bone. You might want to take some of that meat off, but a lot of this is just, it's wasted energy. So just put it in there, and we're going to fill this with water and have all those bones and cartilage and some skin and all of that just go in there, and it'll make a wonderful broth for human soups or doggy stews. Alright, that skin was a little bit dry, so it goes in the pot. And I just pop out the bones. Anything you think you wouldn't eat, just stick it in here. Anything you do think you'll eat, either put it aside in a container for the dog or for the humans. Alright, all that goodness. And just like I promised you, easy cleanup. See all that sticking on there? I want all of it. Well, as much of it as I can get off. Yum, yum, yum. You know, I don't really like chicken, but chicken broth, if made well, made from scratch. Okay, so I've got lots and lots of yummy juices, fats, bones, pieces, parts. And what I'm going to do is fill this about halfway. Depends on how much broth you want to make. About halfway seems to be a good, nice, not too watered down broth. Even for my dog, I always use filtered water. In San Diego, I believe they put fluoride in the water. I'm not having any of that, so she gets RO, and then we add some minerals to the RO. I do the same with all my cooking. Okay, human food, dinner tonight. Just put it right in my Instapot, or you could boil it. Close the lid. Reset. I'm going to put it on the soup option. 30 minutes, probably good. You could go up to an hour if you wanted to. 30 minutes will do it though. And that's it. I just make sure I'm on the setting where it's not letting steam out. The lid is locked, and I just pay attention, make sure everything's going good, and the Instapot pretty much does everything on its own, so I don't have to really fuss with it much. And like that, you have broth. That broth is of course good for all recipes, human, and as well if any of your food is a little bit on the dry side and you want it to get soaked into the kibble, or if you just want to give them kibble and you want to make it a little bit, you know, more enticing because you don't have a meal ready. What I do is I take the broth and I put it into smaller containers that I can just take out of the freezer, and I always have a broth ready to go in the fridge so that I can play around with it, and then when that gets low I take another one out of the freezer. So I don't have a really big one that I feel like I have to use up. I have a bunch of little small ones. And so, happy cooking. Please give us feedback. Love to hear about your successes in the kitchen.